Okay, we're now live. People are tuning in. Well, good morning. Oh, bon vivant. Glad to see you back. 3 guys, 1 mic. All right. Hey, getting closer to Odessa every day now. I am on the road to St. Louis as we speak. Just for the people tuning in who are new. Odessa crew, yeah. Listen, I'm hoping to get together with you guys, maybe with Forrester. Maybe we can do a joint scope when I get to town. All right. Thanks for all the hearts, everybody. Again, my name's William Friedman, and this is the Cross Country Local, which is a journey from the Atlantic to the Pacific across the United States. Bonjour. Comment ça va? A journey across the United States from the Atlantic to the Pacific using only local transit. And this is the last, I think, 5 rides that I've taken along Rides MTD. Bien sûr. Yeah, that's right. I'm heading straight to St. Louis. Saint Louis. So this is the last ride I'm taking on Rides MTD, which is a really, really awesome and extensive rural transit system and paratransit system. Sorry, this particular bus is a little rickety. I don't know how much of that is the bus and how much of this is the road. I'm not too impressed with the highways here in Illinois, to tell you the truth. And you're talking to a guy who grew up in Pennsylvania and had to deal with PennDOT. Anyway, so yeah, we're heading for St. Louis, where I'm going to get on the Metrolink. There's been a little change of plans. Are people on the bus with you? Yes, we've got people on the bus with me. This is a paratransit vehicle, and we've got a brave young man on board who's going to Cardinal Glennon Hospital in St. Louis for treatment, and I know this kid's going to be fine. He's got a great attitude, and he has everything that I had when I was his age, and yeah, he's doing just fine. He's playing with an app on his phone, which we didn't have when I was kids, and he's getting treatments which I didn't have when I was a kid, and he's going to be great. Anyway, I'm also here with his mom and his grandmom, and we thought we'd do something a little different with this update. Thank you so much for the hearts. The green ones match my shirt, and purple ones offset it just so. So anyway, the grandmother, his name's Lisa, started asking me a few questions about New York. So let me just shine a light her way, and Lisa, feel free to ask me anything about my...
Yes, I was just wondering, New York, because I heard they have a lot of riots. I heard that, I don't know if where they had that police shooting with that kid, what goes on in New York. I see a lot of party timers up there. I was just kind of wondering what you guys do there.
Okay. What do we do? There's like 11 million of us, so we're all doing like 11 million different things. First of all, regarding the rioting, the rioting that's occurred in New York in recent years has almost always been in association with either a real or a perceived problem with police tactics. These aren't really frequent. They do happen, and it tends to be white police officers and black suspects. So there's always this racial overtone to it. what happened? A couple things happened recently. Is that there was a black guy who was standing on a street corner selling loose cigarettes, and the police killed him with a chokehold. And this happened. It's funny. We're heading to St. Louis. This happened just a few weeks after Ferguson, so that's why it was so inflammatory. And of course, the guy died because the police choked him to death. So even without Ferguson, I think the black community kind of had a point. And then it was just a few weeks ago that there was a guy standing outside a fancy hotel in Midtown, and like a whole squad of officers just threw him to the ground and strong-armed him. And turned out he was a famous international athlete. He was a recently retired tennis pro, like championship tennis player, and who just happened to be black. So that didn't help matters. Yeah.
So is there like a lot of racial then? And then I was also wanting to know, like the cost of living there. I heard the cost of living is pretty high.
So let's wrap up the race issue right away. Race relations in New York, I think, are better than they are in most American cities, and maybe that's not high praise, but it is what it is. I think that certainly since 9/11, we've had an attitude of you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us, and certainly in the time immediately following 9/11, none of that mattered in the least. And I think we still remember what it was like to have none of that matter in the least. And I think that's stronger connective tissue than anything that divides us. As for the cost of living, all right, yeah. Put it this way, an apartment a little bigger than this bus would probably go for between $1,500 and $2,000 a month in Midtown Manhattan, and yeah, people actually do live in places the size of this bus.
And also cigarettes. I have a friend, and he's a truck driver, and he goes to New York and back, and he smokes, and he said for a carton of cigarettes that he smokes are like $100 a carton. It was like, man, I'd do something better than smoke by a carton of cigarettes.
Yeah, I can't speak to that because I'm not a smoker. Most New Yorkers at this point don't smoke. Yeah. There's smoking. There's just like no place to smoke in public in New York anymore. I would say though that is it your cousin you said, or your friend? Yeah. He's on to something. It really is expensive to smoke in New York. It's probably cheaper to smoke cigars than cigarettes at this point.
I couldn't live in New York.
No, and the thing is, what's funny is, now we're heading into Missouri, which, according to research I did when I was putting this trip together, is the least expensive state to live in the United States. So I plan to spend like a Mac Daddy when I'm in Missouri.
Yeah, I heard New York was, because I got on the internet.
Yeah.
Looked up places like, I looked up New York and California, and California's just, they're high too in the cost of living, like New York is.
Yeah, that's another thing. New York is not a place to live. I believe LA is more expensive. I'm sure San Francisco is. And actually, between San Francisco and San Jose, the Silicon Valley, I've got friends who moved out there, and they bought a ranch house. They're just a one-story house, nothing special. One floor, I think 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's a corner lot with a nice yard and an in-ground pool, but still, It's a ranch house, no basement, no second floor, and 1.2 mil. Yeah, that's sticker shock even for a New Yorker. And here's another thing: is that there's more to New York than New York City. If you go out to the western part of the state, it's both geographically and culturally more like Wheeling, West Virginia, than New York City. And where I live on Long Island, it's just suburbs, and it's a very expensive place to live, but not like the city. Okay.
I need to ask one more question.
Go ahead, Lisa.
But what is that? Because you see, I watch a lot of like your Nancy Grace, and I watch a lot of your like investigators, and
You and my wife would get along fine.
this what is it that they were talking about? They have all these names like something killer of New York and the stalker, and I mean, you're always hearing about all kinds of like stalkers and killers in New York, and a lot of people, to me, I wouldn't want to kind of live in New York if that was going. If you had to walk in New York, downtown New York, and wonder if you're going to get nabbed.
About that, Gacy, Starkweather, who am I meaning? Dahmer, all right. Sons of the Prairie, okay. Speck, all right. Yeah, okay. So it's not like New York has got a lock on mass murderers. Far from it. I'm the one in dangerous territory here. And the last time that we seriously had to throw a net over somebody in New York was 1977, as I was talking about earlier. The son of Sam. The son of Sam, the summer of 1977, he went on a killing spree, and then he made the mistake of killing a mafia princess. And then you had the mob and the cops working on the same side. He did not stand a chance. All right. Okay. So I clarified a few misconceptions about New York, and if anything happens between here and St. Louis, she did it. Right. In the meantime, this is William Friedman for the Cross Country Local. That's please follow me here on Periscope. Please invite your friends to follow me on Periscope, and you can also follow me on Facebook. There's a public page called Cross Country Local. If you can help out in any material way, there's a GoFundMe site for Cross Country Local. And you can follow on Instagram and Twitter, #XCLocal, that's X-Ray Charlie Local, for Cross Country Local. Well, I'll touch base with you again from St. Louis's Metrolink. In the meantime, see you along the route.